Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankara Sharya Madhyamam Asmada Sharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param. Om Namaste. So we are seeing what is the chapter? Oh, I even forgot the chapter here. Chapter 7.
Yeah, that's the chapter.
And Krishna is talking about his inferior nature and superior nature. And then he brought up the Tattva border, in which the evolutionary kind of creation theory, is presented. And then he talks in terms of the elements, not really the elements, prakriti and apara prakriti. And then he talks about these 8 principles that we seen yesterday, which makes up the apara prakriti. Okay, let's see what else is going to transpire here. All these 14 lokas, all the 14 lokas, the 6 below and the 7 above, have not come to existence. All the physical body have not come to existence. So he's saying that this apara prakriti. Okay, let me back up a little bit so that I don't misinterpret what is being said here. Shankaracharya says that manaha should not come. It should be replaced by the word avyaktam. So we are there looking at Shankaracharya coming to say that these 8 principles, they are not manifest yet. They are potentially there in the macrocosm causal universe, or Maya. So in the macrocosm Maya, we have everything, and Shankaracharya comes to help all the teachers to say, don't take it to be the physical material 8 lokas. There is no manifestation, but the manifestation is beginningless there as a potential. 8 prints together make the intermediary stage of apara prakriti. Apara prakriti in its intermediary stage is everything there, unmanifest, but already present as a potential. At this stage, remember, all these 14 lokas have not yet come to manifest. The physical body and the other bodies not yet manifest. Take the Big Bang theory. They talk about what was the condition of the cosmos 100 seconds or a fraction of a second before the Big Bang and after the Big Bang. And then 1/10 of a second after the Big Bang. And then after 1 second, and so on. So Shankya cosmology puts it in those on this perspective. These 8 principles put together is called apara prakriti. So he says, Bina astada prakriti, this is the apara prakriti, divided 8-fold. Krishna wants to introduce now para prakriti. Thank you, Swamiji. So he's going to talk about our higher nature, because only I have introduced para prakriti. Krishna has not yet introduced, so I don't want to put words in Krishna's mouth. Let's wait and see what Krishna says. From the verse 5. This 8-fold nature is my lower nature. Know that nature which is distinct from the lower nature. and which is in the form of Jiva, to be my higher nature by which this universe is sustained. This is a verse which is organized in a way that it may sound confusing. So everything manifests from the causal up to the physical material universe belongs to Brahman's lower nature. So know that superior nature which is distinct from this lower nature and which is in the form of Jiva. So the lower nature, Paramatma, appears as Jivatma, which is Brahman's inferior nature. So know that nature which is distinct lower nature and which is in the form. So lower nature appears as the Jiva, superior nature is as Brahman. So Jiva appears as an unfoldment of these eightfold principles in the macrocosm, on the causal macrocosm formation. And my superior nature is that by which this inferior universe, this apparent universe is sustained. An important and significant verse from the Vedantic angle, Krishna says, eightfold material principles. Okay. Para and para prakriti. We know, we have seen it yesterday, that matter and energy are the same thing. What changes is the frequency of energy. Whereas the scriptures consider consciousness as superior because according to scripture, consciousness is neither matter nor energy. He says that some people makes the confusion believing that consciousness is a sort of energy. But as we know, it has nothing to do with energy. Energy is an inert principle. Scriptures consider consciousness to be consciousness, not an energy. Shastra does not look upon consciousness as a form of energy because energy is always subject to change and conversion. You have electrical energy, you can convert that into heating energy or mechanical energy, magnetic energy, and so on. And they are interconvertible. So consciousness is absolutely nirvikara. No change, no modification is possible. Energy is subject to modification, whereas consciousness is not subject to modification. Okay. Consciousness is beyond scientific study, beyond scientific observation. And this is makes consciousness the most subtle aspect of available and not available in this apparent manifest universe. Because it's not available for observation, it's beyond perception, inference, it's beyond scientific study. It's beyond all laws, physical, chemical laws. It's attributeless. So how can you observe something that has no characteristic of its own? That's why people believe that we people of Vedanta, we are a bit crazy. Because none of this can be proved, scientifically proved. That's why they tend to believe that, after all, it's just another philosophy, another theory. But the proof of the pudding is, how you say, in the eating. Right? So you cannot really objectify and observe and study consciousness, because there's nothing to study, no property to be studied and analyzed, no change to be examined. So this consciousness can be, but can be, how you say, identified and understood, you know, at all times, because it shines at all times in the human mind as a reflected consciousness. But you cannot say much about this reflect consciousness, except that this is not the mind. The mind sits upon this reflected consciousness, and the reflected consciousness is of the same nature of non-dual consciousness, because it's the only consciousness, the only reality. Once we understand that, and then we understood in a verifiable, I was looking for this, for verifiable manner, I have understood the teaching of the scriptures in a verifiable manner. Because consciousness is there allowing experience of anything which is objectifiable, phenomenal object. But this consciousness is beyond all laws. It's beyond time and space. It is prakr.ti. Just as a prakr.ti is here, prakr.ti is also very much within us all the time, 24/7, because it is the substratum of apara prakriti. So what is this consciousness? Whatever is change, you should put into a apara prakriti list, and you have to search and find out what does not change. That is para prakriti, one's very intrinsic nature. This is your new live project. Find out that para prakriti, which is not subject to any change, and it's never available for appearance and disappearance, because appearance and disappearance is a concept within the concept of change. This is the best clue we are giving by the Upanishad. Look for that is never not present and never subject to change. So please go and find out. I'm not going to offer you $1 million. You should go and look for yourself. Look at the whole creation. Whatever you see is subject to modification. Even the space, the most subtle principle or element of the universe, with space, according to Einstein, the space is changing because it's expanding, which means that even space is subject to that change. I'm searching for para prakriti, therefore space is not it. But first begin from your own body. Is your body changing or not changing? Is it going out of shape as the years go by? In spite of all effort to keep it young, beautiful, and shining, fresh, the body is declined with aging. How about the mind? The mind also violently changes sometimes with strong emotional reactions, as we know. Body-mind is apara prakriti. In fact, any and everything I observe is apara prakriti. The scientists, when they go into these experiments in the subatomic realm of the atom, they see things changing. They think that maybe here we're going to find this God particle, but then it sees it changing as well, no? From appearing as a particle into appearing as a wave of energy. So science is at loss trying to find the true nature of reality. Krishna tells that there is para-prakriti here and now, but you will never find in a scientific approach. So go and find it knowing that you cannot approach it scientifically. So go and begin. Somebody came and said, I'm searching all over the universe. Then Krishna reveals the answer because they could not answer. So Krishna says, whatever you experience is apara prakriti, is another pointer. Anything that you experience is apara prakriti. First by saying anything that changes is apara prakriti. Anything that you experience is apara prakriti. There is nothing that you experience which is not changing to begin with. And if you experience, it is an object of experience, not the real subject. Then what is para-prakriti? The experiencer in its true nature is para-prakriti, because you, the experience, is the conscious principle. You are not an inert principle. The body-mind is an inert principle, but it's blessed by consciousness, the true nature of the observer. If you are the observer, you have to be consciousness principle. Therefore, the observer, the jiva, is in its true nature para-prakriti. The observed body is a para-prakriti. The observed mind with its emotions is a para-prakriti, objects of experience changing. But the true nature of the observer, the jiva, the one aware, the real experiencer, the real nature of the experience, the I am is para-prakriti. Tatvamasi is the final conclusion. Any true, serious investigator, provide they are properly qualified. That's why it's said that this verse is important, because this contains one of the fundamental Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. Let's go back to the verse. Is eightfold nature is my lower nature? No, my superior nature is distinct from everything of my lower nature, and which is in the form of jiva, to be my harness. I think here he's referring that jiva atma is paramatma. So if you want to find out my superior nature, know that anything within the eightfold aspects of nature is my lower nature. Know that superior nature is distinct from this lower nature, and which is in the form of jiva atma. This is my higher nature, by which the universe is sustained. Yeah, so this jiva here is being presented as the jiva atma, or the atma of the jiva is the superior nature, but then one has to understand that jiva as consciousness, as the jiva mukta. You got, let's say, the jiva who knows that the jiva is not the body-mind sense complex, it's inferior nature, but the jiva is fundamentally the reflection of consciousness shining in the body-mind sense complex. So that we call jiva the aham. I am, and I know that I am. And this Shiva needs to understand the Aham Brahmasmi, the Tattvamasi, by which this universe is qualified, it is sustained. Okay. Therefore, Krishna wants to say that the whole creation is a mixture of para and para-prakriti. Para in the para-prakriti, the experiencer, the experience, the consciousness, the true nature of the experiencer, and apara-prakriti, the world observed by consciousness through the body-mind-sense complex. We have to again and again remember when we go through this text that the experiencer is not the mind, it's not the intellect. At the same time, we cannot say that consciousness is the only experiencer, because consciousness is clearly present as not an experiencing entity. But we know that without consciousness, the body-mind-sense complex does not experience anything. Body-mind-sense complex is an instrument by which experience takes place. The true nature of the experiencer is limitless consciousness. Therefore, the true nature of the experience applies para-prakriti. The world of objects of experience is the mixture presented by Krishna here. Yes, spirit and matter, spirit and energy. The whole universe is but the combination of these two principles. Even Arjuna, being so powerful, is not able to figure it out. Therefore, he better qualify to purify his intellect. May you know, the verse says that para-prakriti, this para-prakriti is your very nature as Jivatma, meaning what? The very consciousness, the experiencer, blessing in the body-mind complex, just as electricity, the invisible one, is blessing the fan and all other pieces of equipment. The electricity is invisible, but without the invisible electricity, no appliance works. This inert body-mind complex is enlivened and activated by the touch of consciousness. I love this expression, the touch of consciousness. Know, Arjuna, that this consciousness is my higher nature, which is your true nature. So what is the glory of that consciousness? Because of that, spirit alone, consciousness can be called a spirit. I do not want to use this word spirit. You may think that is some kind of, good spirit or bad spirit. It's all words need to be used and at the same time corrected or understood in its limitation to point to that which is consciousness. Take it in the proper sense because of that spirit, because of that consciousness principle alone. The entire inert universe dances due to its blessings and its laws. It sustains, it maintains, and it destroys consciousness. And the physical body level, the consciousness is experienced in the form of a life principle. If you have any doubts, touch your body. The body is sentient. Because the body is blessed with consciousness. And then is a sentient principle, sensible principle. As long as there is life, the body is together and functioning. The moment the life principle is no longer there, the body disintegrates. The dearest thing called the body has to be disposed very rapidly at the earliest. Now, this body is bathed, dressed, perfumed, and all kinds of things are done. It's together, but without life. This is already disintegrating. So amazing, huh? And people do not think in these terms, you know, what is there? What was there in this body that's no longer there? And now the body is disintegrating. Extend this to the cosmic level. The whole cosmos is in harmony only due to this chit, intelligent principle. The Chaitanya aspect of Brahman, the Chaitanya nature of Brahman. The world is functioning as though a cosmic human being. Yeah, beautiful. The entire cosmos is alive, intelligently designed, and is functioning according to all these laws. Everything comes from consciousness. All of this because of para-prakriti alone. Oh no, but it's Ishwara. Ishwara is a para-prakriti. Ishwara is blessed by Brahman para-prakriti with the same consciousness that we jivas are blessed with. The visible part of the creation is a para-prakriti. The invisible, sustaining conscious principle is called para-prakriti. The creation here is present as the cosmic person, the cosmic entity, it's better to say. That's why we have Purusha Shuktam, which means the cosmic person. I thought he was going to say the cosmic egg. It's because we're all, this is China, all, the whole cosmos. What he's talking about China here. That's why we have Purusha Shuktam, which means the cosmic person. Translates in Tamil, it becomes this is China, all, and the whole cosmos spirit. That's Bhagwan. So I don't go there because I cannot make any sense of it. Can you? Verse 6. Asserting that all things and beings have these two principles, para and apara prakriti. They have these two prakritis as their material cause. Yeah. Everything in the universe is made up of these two principles. I am the source as well as the ground of the solution of this entire universe. Anything comes from me and resolves back into me, says Krishna. In this verse, Krishna talks about the conversion of the intermediary stage into the final cosmos. In the previous two verses, he had talked about only one intermediary stage consists of one para-prakriti and eightfold apara-prakriti principles. That is the plant stage. which is the plant. Plant there means to say the design, something like that, as it were. And now Krishna says, from this plant stage alone, the huge tree of cosmos consists of gross elements as well as the elementals. The gross elements means the gross akasha, the gross air, the gross fire, the gross, all these physical manifest dense principles, which include the air. Air is very subtle. Space is the most subtle, but it's still. I used to speculate that when we experience the mental world, we find space there as well. It's not the physical space, but it's the mental space. But I could never find anything elaborating this idea. So we have this. Krishna says that this is the design of the universe, the plant. The trees of the cosmos consisting of gross elements and as well as the elementals. You remember what it means, elementals?
Yeah. He says coming up, the products formed by the combination of the elements. But I was thinking about what you said about space mentally. And in dream, there's space, right? So that's in the mental subtle level as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you mean just when we're thinking in Vyavaharika, when we're in our day-to-day?
Well, no, when we think in terms of the mental world, it has to be accommodate somewhere, because
Yeah.
objects are there. They are thought objects, but they may need to be accommodated on something,
Oh, no, I see what you're saying. It's true. I
Yeah.
feel that.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's the example for elementals? Our body itself is one combination, assembly, final product. We have got earth in the body. The body is made up of refined mud. Remember, something we say clay is only in the head, but according to scriptures, the whole body is made out of head. Why he says here, what kind of joke is this, that clay is only in the head? Did you get that joke?
Maybe he's just saying when we don't have much going on, it's just gross.
Yeah,
Meant.
probably on those lines. And then he said, the whole body is made out of mud, but maybe some extra mud is there in the head. I do not know. It's only, but the body is fine clay, fine mud, as he says. There is a lot of water, there are other things. Water alone is the shape of the body, and then there is fire in the body. So the elements are there as the elements, and then the elementals are all the byproducts. Okay, you may go to Kailasa or Badri, where the temperature may be 1 degree, very cold, but the bodies maintain the same inner temperature. The fire within the body is going to regulate it so nicely. Yeah? So there is fire in the body doing that. And then there is air. The air is always there in the body, and we experience it by breathing in and breathing out. And then he say, Akasha space is there. Okay, empty spaces there. Sometimes in the head, you have empty space as well. And certainly within the stomach, your stomach is always feeling, I need to eat. So he does not elaborate on also the space is pervading the entire physical body. Everything has to be accommodated in space after all. In short, body is an elemental. In Sanskrit, an element is called bodhikam. Element is called bhutam. An element is called bodhikam. Krishna says out of this plant stage came the, the elementals. All these things are beings there that you experience from the not microorganism to the most evolved human body. Everything you experience has its cause in me, and it was designed by me, para prakrti. So here, that means what apara mixture. Oh, there is an interesting part. So, yoni means what? The source. So the apara mixture alone is the source of the entire creation, and this apara mixture is called Ishvara. Everything is a mixture of apara prakriti, but as we know, it exists as Ishvara in its causal macrocosmic condition of formation, because everything is already there.
It's funny when you use the word mixture, it seems to imply that there's two things on the same order of reality, but that's not true either.
Yeah, well said.
Mixture is a weird one.
And not only that, there is a mixture of something that is real and with something that is unreal. What kind of mixture is that? It's an apparent mixture. That's why we have to use this apparent word again and again to resolve these apparent contradictions. The body-mind is an appearance in consciousness. Nothing exists without its adhisthanam or substratum or base on which it is sustained. God alone has evolved in the form of this creation, so Krishna is revolutionizing the concept of God here. We have studied this. Our concept of God is that a person sitting somewhere in the cloud, one of these famous deities, living somewhere there. There is even a milk of ocean. And then he goes on creating and dumping things down here. He makes earth and dumps down the earth and little bits plants and stars, but he keeps doing everything. So this is the very general idea of 6 days. God was working hard to create everything, and then he rested in the 7th day. Therefore, the scripture introduces God in 3 levels: God as a person, God as the universe, and God as Nirguna Chaitanya. Our scripture, our Vedantic scriptures, to accommodate everybody, presents God at the beginning as a deity. And then later on presents God as the totality of the cosmos, Vishvarupa, darshan, the vision of the totality of God. A God without any specific name and form, but it's a totality. And later on, the Nirguna God, which is God totally nameless and formless, which is propertyless, attributeless consciousness. This is the real truth, but it's very abstract. God as the abstract reality, very few people will understand and appreciate. Therefore, it's never present in the beginning. God is present as a person, as a deity in the beginning. Somebody with certain powers, some properties and characteristics. The absolute God is Nirguna Atma. Now Krishna says, do not look up for this God, Nirguna God, prakr.ti, as if it is a super jiva sitting somewhere. Learn to look at everything as the manifestation of this Nirguna God, prakr.ti. So assert it in your mind, digest this understanding, assimilate this teaching. And not only the whole universe evolves out of me, the whole universe rests in me alone. So rests, it's from me, it comes from me. In me, it rests means to say I sustain, I hold this universe in place. And then from time to time, it is destroyed. So what is the fate of this universe? Swamiji is going to talk about that now, because he is talking about it. It evolves from me and it rests, sits on me. But then the third aspect, it is destroyed within me, because the destruction of the world is something that there is several angles for us to understand. Fundamentally, you destroy it, understand that there is only Brahman, there is no world at all. Same way there are no namarupas of gold. The only real thing is gold. The scientists who are studying the cosmology, they are talking about the Big Bang theory. So that too is right or wrong, a lot of controversy. And according to this theory, creation at the time of Big Bang start evolving and expanding. They say that even now the universe is expanding. Now, what they are wondering at is whether this expansion will be eternal or it will stop. And if this expansion stops, it will be a permanent stop or it will reverse back. Some people talk of big crunch, Big Bang, and then big crunch in opposition. The whole thing will expand, reach a certain stage, and thereafter the whole thing again will come back to singularity, what they call singularity. One single principle, the macrocosm or Maya. They call it singularity, and then after some time, Maya wakes up and then projects everything again back into manifestation. This is what they are wondering, the scientists. According to the scriptures, this evolution of the world later will be reversed. According to some, according to our scriptures, this evolution, manifestation will be resolved, reversed back to the causal. So Shrishti Sthiti will be followed again by Pralaya. And at Pralaya time, what will be there? Only para prakriti. And apara prakriti in its potential latent condition. Then what will happen? Again, it will expand after some time. This is the theory, the valid theory of manifestation. Do not worry, each one will take infinite times, because when Maya goes to sleep, everybody must sleep. He is really quite something. Evolution, existence, contraction, evolution, Big Bang, Big Crunch. So just enjoy all these concepts, but the fundamental truth is all of that is happening within a meteor order of reality, which is not really real. Then what is reality? The true nature of the one observing and experiencing this apparent reality. Everything will go back to the unmanifest condition again. Again, from the unmanifest condition, it will come manifest, and again, it will go back in all aspects, in the micro and in the macro. And we can take some examples watching the micro daily. When in the morning, when we wake up, our activities evolve, thoughts evolve, actions evolve. The moment we wake up, everything begins. But when the night comes, everything is withdrawn. Where all that energy goes, rests again within the body-mind-sense complex. Actions of withdrawal, thoughts of withdrawal. Is it permanent? No. No, the cycle of the three states is a good representation of the cycle involving the causal body, the causal universe, the macrocosm causal universe, the macrocosm subtle universe, which manifests as the microcosmic physical material cosmos. Next night again, therefore, the whole creation is a cyclic process according to our scriptures. It's a cyclic apparent process. When did the whole thing start? We are particular to know that only when it all starts. So we want to know the details. We think that those are the most relevant questions. So when we talk about the cycle, understand it's not a linear manifestation, because if it was linear, we would have to go into the 0 point in this time linearity. And then we would never be able to find the starting point, because that start point would have to be established within time. So when we talk about cycle in Vedantic language, we have to understand it's not linear time. The cycle is more like a circle. You can never talk about beginning and end when you look for a circle. Therefore, the scriptures say it is an eternal process, beginningless process. The cycle will not end, but you can get out of the cycle. Getting out of the cycle in the micro level is called moksha. You have got into merry-go-round for only God knows how many lifetimes, which will never stop. this the jiva as a principle is eternal. As individual soul, it's almost eternal, but it can be disrupted. This infinite cycle, almost eternal cycle process, it can be stopped, but there is no switch. It's a merry-go-round. After some time becomes sorry-go-round. First few rounds are fine, I enjoy. Then you want to get out. How many people want to get out? So rare. You keep asking the guru, so where I find the switch? I want to switch it off. I don't want to come back. Then we had that babe there somewhere near Mumbai that was born, and the first thing the babe said, well, instead of crying, is not again, not again, not again. They say that there is no switch. You cannot turn it off. The only way is what? You have to jump out. It keeps going, but you have to jump out. This is called moksha. No, it just goes round and round and round, and nobody's going to stop this samsara chakra for you to step down. You have to jump out. And Krishna is saying, I am the source, I am the origin of the entire universe. Not only in the same way, I am the resolution ground. I am the graveyard of this creation. The whole thing will come to me alone. So I throw out and I resolve. And in the scriptures, they give another example to understand this. It is exactly, let's highlight this one. It's good. It is exactly like our projection of the dream universe. If you can imagine the process of dream, something that is projected out of your mind, it emerges as the entire vast dream world with all kinds of things and objects which would never fit in your head, but the mind is not the head. So, which has got not only creations, but it has different locus as well. Well said. According to the dream, it's going to be a dream on a higher loca or an inferior loca. This concept of locus is not much different from our mental state, and it's more clearly understood taking the example of the dream state. You can have nightmares or celestial dreams, very enjoyable dreams. We were talking about that before, the space within them. And now he says, even the locus, you generate even time and space out of your mind. The dream time is different from the awake time, remember, and that is why we've seen a few minutes. According to the scientists, the dream may last for 1 minute, and it's only a short time. It's called rapid eye movement. They can measure through the eye movement for how long you dream. So one may have a dream that goes from childhood to old age in just 1 minute, to different timing. But the point here is I create all of that. But when I wake up, what do? I just swallow the entire dream world. Yeah, I'm the Srishti Karta, and I am the Shishti stiti, karta. I project and I devour the entire world. And I am the liar. No, I project, I sustain, and I devour as the liar, karta. Nice. With regards to the dream, time, space, and objects, similarly, God on the macro level does the same thing. The entire cosmos is brought about from God, sustained by God, and destroyed or taken back within God. The verses 7, Krishna goes on to say, no, Arjuna, there is no other cause at all apart from me. All this cosmos is strung in me like beads in a string. What is the meaning of strung? A string? Strung?
Strung means put together on that string.
Like a mala, no?
Yeah.
Normally, when we study creation, we observe one law, and that is what? Every cause has got its own cause. So causality is the most fundamental law of the universe. And not only that, when you establish that something is a cause, you have to remember that it was a fact before it became a cause. If you take our own parents, we are the effects of our parents. The parents were the cause, I am the effect. But what we find out, the parents themselves, they were not the cause when you look from the perspective of their parents. They were effect of the parents. And so will be my children. The general law, causality, we observe in every aspect of our human experience. Everything has got its own cause. Since we observe in this creation, the question fundamentally, what has caused this creation? A very legitimate question. There is no creation without a creator. There is no effect without a cause. So if God is the cause of the creation, then we'll raise many other questions. What has caused God? If everything is within causation. Who are the parents of God? Krishna says he was brought up in an orphanage. He had no parents. It is parentless parent, causeless cause of the universe. I'm never an effect of anything. Only within Mithya, you have cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect at all times. Every fraction of a second. Prakr.ti is anadhi, is beginningless. Apara is also anadhi, beginningless. Prakr is consciousness principle. Apara is the inert principle. It is beginningless because it exists within Maya, the seed of the universe. It never goes away. I guess Brahman many times want to get rid of Maya, but then it gave up. The combination is God, is a combination of what? God. Therefore, God also must be what? Beginningless. And therefore, God does not have anyone who created him. And how about the Jivatma? It's beginningless as well. How about all other Jivas? They are beginningless. Okay. So we stop here. It's pouring again here. I have to move some things outside. We meet again this coming Friday. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Okie dokie.
Thank you, Erlinda.
See you later.